Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth, alongside Phil Duvall. Say hi, Phil.
You sound horrible, Andy.
You know what? I haven't had a voice for days. It's terrible. I hate it. I feel like I'm back in puberty again. Well, I mean, somehow I always feel like I'm in puberty, which is weird.
Me too.
Right?
You and I always, that's never going to change. We're going to be 85 sitting on a porch somewhere being like, hi. It's
How
not.
are you?
By the way, do you want to see something that'll cheer you up?
Yes.
Look, Christmas decorations.
Nice.
The green and white wall now has red on it. It's Christmas in my heart and also on my wall.
Your heart is on your wall.
You want to see something else that'll cheer you up?
Yes.
That's the hot rod. That's Roddy Piper. Came here to chew bubblegum and do a podcast, and he's all out of bubblegum, people.
Nice.
All out of bubblegum. Look at the boot. All right, what are we talking about today, Andy?
Well, first we're going to talk about Roddy Piper's second greatest movie ever, Hell Comes to Frogtown. That is an actual movie.
You've talked to me about this before.
It's an actual movie. I wasn't kidding then. Still not kidding.
I still haven't seen it since the last time we talked about it.
No one's seen it. I feel like I'm going crazy, but it's an
I was going to watch it, but I've been catching up on Boardwalk Empire. It's just been very busy.
I've been doing anything else with my life. Anyway, our topic today, suggested by a reader, a faithful viewer.
I was going to say, are we writing things now? We are, occasionally.
Okay, occasionally. To celebrate the imminent release of Les Miserables.
I'm sorry, do you mean Les Miserables? Les Miserables.
When I was like in third or fourth grade, a kid in my carpool asked me, as a total setup, he's like, how would you pronounce this? And I was like,
Les Miserables?
And he's like, no, Les Miserables. And I was like, well, you showed me.
Andy, if I had a time machine and I could only go back in time once, I'd go back in time just to hate that kid.
I don't think he was actually a bad guy. I just think he was 1 year older than me. Kids are jerks.
I was such a jerk. I was not one of the bad kids. I was one of the good kids, and I was such a jerk. Do you want to hear something I did once?
Yes, I do.
I shouldn't. It hurts me to know that this is something I'm capable of.
Right.
There was a girl in my class who liked the New Kids on the Block.
Uh-oh.
And I literally just walked up to her one day, and I was like, hey, blank. I'm not going to say her name on the air. Hey, blank. And she goes, yeah. I go, just wanted you to know that the New Kids on the Block suck. Well, I was 11. Like, what?
All right. We're gonna have to redeem your character by talking about musicals that you like because
I'm glad
musicals.
That we do because that it goes straight to something that I think about all the time when we talk about this.
Please.
The people that created South Park, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, some of the greatest comic geniuses of our time.
Sure.
I love everything they do.
Sure.
One of their premises for the film, for the show, for South Park, was the idea that everyone always walks around idolizing children and suggesting that children are angels and children are so innocent. And they were like, no, children are not. And in fact, they need to be socialized and they need to be taught because children aren't that.
Right.
And they base their the idea of kids being foul-mouthed and jerks to each other is that it was just, the outgrowth of them wanting to share that. And I'm glad you bring that up, best musicals, because my second favorite musical of all time is South Park, Bigger something or an uncut. Doesn't really matter what it's called. Bigger, longer, uncut.
Yeah.
But the South Park movie is an amazing musical, and it plays off all of the musical tropes and ideas, and it's super great, and I love all the songs, and it's super funny, and it's still relevant today, 10, 12 years later.
Yeah.
So my second favorite musical of all time is South Park.
Nice.
Love it. Also love Team America, World Police.
Which certainly has enough songs to qualify as a musical.
Yes, and watch Team America, World Police, and then if you're anti-war and you watch it, and you'll be like, see, I told you. And if you're pro-war and you watch it, you'll be like, see, I told you. It's just like the mark of a good film.
Right. So what's your favorite?
West Side Story.
Nice.
I need to say, by the way, you're going to have a lot more to say than I am. I'm talking a lot up front, but you're going to have a lot more to say. But I'm not a big musical guy. I'm not against them. I don't have a. I mean, I'm not officially against musicals, but it's not my favorite category of thing. And I think it's really hard to pull off a really good musical. And I was introduced to West Side Story young. I love Leonard Bernstein. I love Romeo. I mean, I don't love Romeo and Juliet, but I know the story of Romeo and Juliet. The music for West Side Story to me is just on a whole other, it's just a whole other plane of existence. And I love West Side Story. I love how cheesy and like, what are they doing dancing when they're fighting? Stop it. What is this, Michael Jackson video? But I don't know.
Sure. Well, Phil is right. I have a lot to say on the subject, and this is ostensibly a 10-minute Tuesday, so I won't say nearly as much as I am capable of saying. But as this is I have a background in musicals. Oh, Phil, you are the worst. You're the worst person I know. I hate you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you talking?
I am self-conscious about my voice right now.
You sound great. Continue.
I hate you. But I can't hate you because you have a Roddy Piper glass. So my first experience with musicals is, please take that away. My first experience with musicals is the stage version. And I have a lot of problems with a lot of filmed musicals because they don't live up to, I think there is a natural suspension of disbelief when you're watching something on the stage that aids musicals, because it is less silly to watch people dance fighting when you're already like sitting and watching them live.
It's a stage, right?
Yes, right. So I think certain things have to be done. When you're watching
that stuff in live on stage, you're just glad they didn't actually stab each other, right? Whenever you watch theater, you're always like, how are they going to pull this off?
Right. And I think that is one of the things, and I love the movie for West Side Story. The movie, I love it. But I think that is one of the things that keeps it from being my favorite movie musical. And I think it's kind of telling that my favorite movie musical was a musical that was made as a movie first, and that is Singing in the Rain.
Say it again, is what?
Singing in the Rain.
Oh.
It is a musical for people who do not like musicals. And I know that's like a cliched thing to say, but it is laugh out loud funny for the duration of its runtime. And the humor is not dated at all because it pokes fun. I mean, ostensibly it is about the transition in Hollywood from silent films to talkies, but it is actually about, it is puncturing the Hollywood system and celebrity culture, and it's not like we've gotten rid of either of those things. So it is hilarious. I defy any man not to fall in love with Debbie Reynolds. I defy any woman not to fall in love with both Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connor.
Debbie Reynolds is so much that like gay men fall in love with Debbie Reynolds, like on a regular basis. Like she has a huge gay following because even gay men are like, gotta respect that. I mean, Debbie Reynolds, man. And Singing in the Rain is really one of those movies. It goes on that short list of, it's probably not a short list for people like you and I, but it is one of the, to me it's a short list of movies that if someone said, I don't really care about older movies, I'd be like, I get you. I hear you. I mean, you and I differ a little bit on that because you get to that point where you're like, oh, you're just an idiot. Just like it. And I'm like, no, okay, whatever. Like, I get it. But Singing in the Rain is like, it's for anybody. It's like you don't ever remake it. Don't ever remake Casablanca. You don't need to do that because the ones that just, you don't need to. They're so pitch perfect. They are of a time and place, but that time and place it's captured so well that it's never. Yeah, I can see that. Like West Side Story can feel dated.
Yes.
which to me is a testament to how great it is that it can feel dated, and the fight sequences can be so kind of tame, and yet the emotion behind it is just like
I
so.
completely agree.
Oh, I know we're on the same
Yeah,
page. I know we are for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I
Singing in the
mean,
Rain is a solid. I want to watch that right now. Now that you've said
right.
that, watch it in the longest time.
Other favorites of mine. I
Do
mean,
you
The
want to?
Sound of Music.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
my wife loves Sound of Music.
oh
I hadn't seen Sound of Music until like 3 years ago, ever in my
interesting.
life.
Okay,
That also, I don't think my mom has ever watched this show. But my mom, she saw that 7 times in the movie theaters when she was a kid. She said that was the most she'd ever seen any movie in the movie theaters was Sound of
wow,
Music. And my mom is not the kind of person to see things over and over and over again
awesome
in the movie theater anyway.
for sure.
But that was back in the day before you could just have it on your at home.
Right.
So it came out in the movie theater. If you liked something, you better see it.
To be fair, though, it was also a time when if something was popular, it would stay in theaters for a year.
True. But I'm
But that
saying
doesn't
let
that
them
doesn't
disappear forever.
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 Um, I
So,
wanna I wanna
solid choice.
thank you.
Julie Andrews is another one like Debbie Reynolds, where it's just like
How do you not love her? There's no way. Uh, I want
sneaky
to
gorgeous.
yes. I wanna show some love to a recent musical that I think is
Yes.
just gorgeous, and that is the movie Once.
Oh,
Um, I know
my wife
it.
and I were just talking about this the other night because Glenn Hansard did a cameo on Parenthood, on
I
the
haven't
TV
watched
show
that episode
Parenthood.
yet. I haven't watched it yet.
No, that's all I
Sure,
say. He does a
sure.
cameo on
But I'm
what?
excited.
Parenthood.
I'm excited because
And he's just singing, and there's a scene where he's just singing full-throated Glenn Hansard style, and I just like looked at her and I was like, why am I not paying like all sorts of attention to Glenn Hansard right now?
yeah,
Like,
yes.
oh, Once is a beautiful, beautiful
Um,
movie, and explain why you love it so much.
well, I'll tell you. Once, once it is on its face, it is a romantic comedy. That is not a musical because it's not people breaking out into song. It's about musicians. And so
Right.
the songs are organic because it's about them actually singing. It's not, there's no suspension of disbelief, which, I mean, we don't, as we've discussed, neither of us necessarily need, but this does away with that dilemma entirely. And the reason I love it so much, besides the fact that the characters are perfectly drawn, um, and there is such a sweet and tender love between the two of them. It works as a romantic story on another level. It works as a romantic story between the two characters and between the two characters and music. There is I would say the most important scene in the movie is when the man played by Glenn Hansard gets people together and they record a demo with him, and they're
Yeah.
doing it in the middle of the night, and the guy who is the studio engineer he's like, this is the middle of the night, I can't believe I'm here, I hate this, and he's lying back, he's like, oh god, and they start a song. And as the song goes and it builds, and it's so subtle and beautiful. You are getting sucked into this song, and then you notice that the engineer is getting sucked in as well. And it is a love letter to the power of music. And
Yeah.
and so to everyone who says I don't like musicals because they're fake, the reason I understand, I'm not being willfully obtuse. I know what they mean
Sure.
when they say that. But the reason that I kind of don't get it is music is universal. And when you add music to things, it doesn't make it less universal. It makes it more universal. And Once is a celebration of that fact.
hmm I love it, and I think to people who complain that musicals are fake, there's a there's a really good, The Far Side, the greatest comic, the greatest funny, the greatest comic of all time is The Far Side, in my opinion. And there's this one where there's a woman, a mosquito, and there's a female mosquito dressed up like a housewife, And the male mosquito comes home and he's got his hat and he's putting it on the hat rack and he's like, "Oh, what a busy day I had. I spread malaria to half the country." And he got letters written to him saying, everybody knows that it's the female mosquito that spreads malaria. And he goes, "Oh, that's cool. Of course, no one has a problem with a mosquito wearing an outfit and walking into a house and speaking English, you know. But I go, oh, so that's where I cross the line." And I feel that way with movies a lot of times, where it's like, oh, really? Now we're going to decide it's unrealistic,
right? Or is that what we're going with?
I'm a huge fan of professional wrestling. Huge fan of professional wrestling, and people will be like, it's fake, and I'm like, so is everything else we watch. Like, that's what I think is funny, is like, people are like, well, it's fake. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Next.
And
right.
You mean the Dillon Panthers didn't win several state titles in Texas?
Actually, Friday Night Lights is so good that it actually altered history, and that did happen. That's how good Friday Night Lights is. I would love to see a Friday Night Lights musical.
I would totally watch that.
Just throw the ball, force. I would see that. I would totally see that. I would see it. Can we see it?
Texas forever, Texas forever.
Ooh,
and of course, the big finale is Clear Eyes, Full Hearts Can't Lose.
Can't lose. I once had a whole chapel full of children saying Clear Eyes, Full Hearts Can't Lose.
Okay. I have something else to say. For everyone who has watched Friday Night Lights, that feeling that you get in your heart whenever anyone says that you just got when Phil said Clear Eyes, Full Hearts Can't Lose, that is the feeling that Once will give you. That's how good it is. It is the same. It's the same. It's like, oh, the world is okay because.
Can I?
Yeah.
Can I throw some love out there for Oklahoma?
Absolutely.
There was a point when they in the 50s and 60s they were just like, screw it, make it a movie.
Yeah.
And they were like, but it's not going to be just do it. And they literally just shot it, and it was great. I love Oklahoma. I don't know why I love Oklahoma so much, but I totally do.
I do too. Pro tip on Netflix. I don't think it's streaming, but Hugh Jackman. He was. It's not a movie. It's a staged. It's a film of a stage production.
Oh yeah.
But he plays. Have you seen it? He plays Curly.
No, I know what you're talking about. He plays
Curly in a production of Oklahoma, and he is amazing because he can do anything.
You're the biggest crush on Hugh Jackman.
I don't make any apology for it. Have I?
I know, but I am apologizing to the world for you since you refuse to. Since you're shameless.
I renege his apology on my behalf.
I want you to see. Have you seen Cannibal the musical?
I haven't. I need to.
It introduces the word spadoinkle into the English lexicon,
which I have actually used, and I knew that it came from that. I just haven't. I
can't say enough. I can't say enough about the South Park guys. They really understand. They know how to use. They know how to use musicals. And now the Book of Mormon, which I haven't seen, but everyone says it's the greatest thing ever.
Yes.
It has now surpassed. It has now surpassed sliced bread. So now people will say it is the greatest thing since the musical version of the Book of Mormon.
Nice.
So, what else is there anything else we need to say about musicals? I mean, I feel like
we can come back to this. We could do a podcast on Singing in the Rain.
So Singing in the Rain is your favorite. What else? Are there any other ones that you just have to talk about that it's like one of your favorites?
I've talked about them, and there are so many that I love. I am predisposed to like musicals, but the ones that I honestly don't think I could live without. Singing in the Rain, Sound of Music, Once. I mean, there are others. I love West Side Story. I love the movie If Anything Happened on the Way to the Forum. I even liked Sweeney Todd. I mean, it's almost an impossible.
I liked it.
Yeah. Right.
Sacha Baron. They don't make awards for Sacha Baron Cohen. Like, there's not a category that fits what he does, and he is this generation's Peter Sellers, and he's gonna have to play it totally straight in some movie, and they're gonna give him an Oscar, and they're gonna give him an Oscar because they had to give him an Oscar because they couldn't give him an Oscar for Talladega Nights and Borat and Sweeney Todd and Hugo, and everything he does is. I mean, even if you don't like him, he's a genius.
I agree.
Anyways, and I can't say enough about Sacha Baron Cohen. And he's with Isla Fisher, so what up?
Right, totally. Anything else you got?
That's a 20-minute Tuesday right there, son.
20-minute Tuesday.
Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the Mel Gibson opus Attack Force Z.
Very excited to see it. I haven't even cracked it open yet. Very excited to
I'm a half hour in and we'll talk about it. It is an adventure.
Yes. But this is to our anonymous viewer. I hope this has at least started the conversation to your satisfaction. I'm sure we will come back to various musicals in the near and far future. But basically, Second Breakfast Podcast, we endorse musicals. You should watch them. And start with Singing in the Rain if you think you don't like musicals. You will like that one.
Fair enough.
And that's all we have to say.
Are you going to see Les Miserables?
I hope to see it opening day. I will be seeing Django Unchained on Christmas.
Okay.
But I hope to see both. I'll be with my family so you know.
You're a Jew. It's easier for you. For me, it's like, we gotta do all the stuff. So go to the movies. Go have some Chinese food. Just really make it the 25th of December. Do it right.
It's Phil. It's what we do.
You guys are so good at it.
Well, we've had a lot of practice.
Hey, if I wasn't one of us, I'd be one of you guys because it just sounds awesome.
Totes.
All right, man.
This has been another Second Breakfast Podcast. Stunningly, we didn't make 10 minutes, but we don't care.
Shocker.
Yes. We've had a lot of fun. We hope you have too. Leave us a comment on the YouTube video. Like us on Facebook. Get your friends to do the same. I'm Andy Roth. That's Phil Duvall. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Adios. Good night, ladies.